feel like I'm about to die.
Oh God, I'm about to die! What the fuck, man?
Well, guess I'm dead now. On the outside this time. I don't know what his problem is. It's not my fault Namco won't bring back the Pac-Man World games. Ah, well. At least I've got eternal bragging rights. I mean, really, I was just killed by Pac-Man. The Pac-Man. One of the most popular video game icons to date, debuting in the age of the arcade with the likes of Frogger, Donkey Kong, and Q Bert. But Pac-Man triumphed over all of them with his addicting maze game. Going on for over 40 years since 1980, Pac-Man must be navigated through a blue maze to eat all of the pellets on screen while avoiding 4 colored ghosts. Blinky, Inky, Pinky, and Clyde. But those aren't the only ghosts that give him chase. Okay, besides Sue, and Funky, and Spunky, and everyone's favorite, Kinky. No, I'm not referring to the lesser-known ghost. I'm referring to something that's already caught Pac-Man multiple times. And that is something that chases all colorful characters. The inevitability that the internet will transform them into a shadow of their former selves, becoming the monster of their own horror story, or at least a victim of something far less E-rated. In 2018, I've already talked about a few Pac-Man-inspired horror games, but now we're delving even deeper in the maze of torment to find even more Pac-Man horror. Welcome to Cackling Pumpkins, and this is the world of Pac-Man horror. Dark Deception and Monsters and Mortals.
Oh, another one. How nice to have some company again.
Now, we've already talked about Dark Deception, but then it wasn't as big as it is now. Back then, it was just a maze game as you collect crystals and avoid demented wind-up monkeys with knives. The way they move was always kinda weird. They would move like machines, as it almost felt like they leaned to take sharp corners. I guess that's the idea considering they're giant toys. It was an awesome game, but developers Glowstick Entertainment were far from done. Later in 2018, they released Dark Deception and turned it into an episodic story-driven game. You play as Doug Hauser, who ends up in a ballroom surrounded by red portals with different icons on them. There he meets Beers, who informs him that if he wishes to return to life, he must go through these portals and collect enough soul shards that can grant him his life once more. But it's not that simple, as each portal takes you into a different location, each with their own nightmares and creatures trying to stop you at every turn. The monkeys return from the earliest version of the game, and you've also got the long-armed demented Agatha, giant walking decorative ducks with human legs called Dread Duckies, and even monsters that are direct references to other horror games, such as Reaper Nurses, which seem to be based on the nurses from Silent Hill, and Lucky the Rabbit, an animatronic rabbit based on Five Nights at Freddy's and Chuck E. Cheese. The game is 4 chapters in, with a 5th being developed. Not only this, but the devs also made a spin-off called Monsters vs. Mortals, which is a multiplayer game that brings many characters from Dark Deception and also characters from other games like Monstrum, Silent Hill, Yandere Simulator, and even some horror content creators like 8-Bit Ryan. Faceman 3D. Faceman 3D is a first-person indie horror game. You find yourself in a massive metallic maze with only a flashlight and some breadcrumbs by your side. Your job is to find the exit to this maze while avoiding Pac-Man. There are maps that tell you where the exit is, your current location, and even gives you an idea as to where Pac-Man is. The map itself is different from its arcade counterpart, as it's shaped more like a circle than the rectangular blue halls we're familiar with. Breadcrumbs are used to keep track of where you've been, but Pac-Man can also eat the breadcrumbs. If you're careless, the breadcrumbs can even lead Pac-Man straight to you. Pac-Man himself is given a red, fleshy, monstrous look, with protruding teeth as he's covered in blood. If he sees you, Pac-Man will viciously chomp in your direction until he's caught you as his next meal. One problem of the game is that it's on the easier side. Many players have gone through the maze and made it to the exit without encountering Pac-Man even once. Maybe it's due to the slower speed of Pac Man or the size of the map. It Steals. It Steals is a maze-based horror game with a stealthy end, as the itch.io page claims, will take advantage of your expectations. You must collect a certain number of orbs within the maze, while being followed by a monster slowly creeping behind you. You are also given a radar to help you navigate around this map. One of the biggest things to remember is that sound is your best friend here. Not only will you be able to tell how close the monster is through sound, but also tell if an orb is nearby or not. There are 5 different game modes to play on: Classic, Shutter, Hide and Seek, Living Halls, and the Phantom. Classic is the default, as you must navigate the map while collecting all the orbs. You can use your flashlight to scare away the monster if they were to get too close. Shutter gives you a camera with limited batteries instead of a flashlight. You can use the flash of the camera to scare the monster and stun it, but unlike the flashlight, your uses are limited. Hide and Seek is where you literally play a game of hide and seek while collecting orbs. You are the first one it. Once you find the monster, they become it, and give you a few seconds to run off. And now, you must hide from them while collecting the rest of the orbs. Living Halls puts a timer on your wrist, as you must escape within the time frame given to you. There are also new spider-like monsters that hide on the walls of the maze. If the timer runs out, the monsters become enraged and continuously chase the player until the timer resets, so hide in the vault when that time comes. And the Phantom makes the monster invisible, so you must use moving furniture to detect where they are. You must hold perfectly still and hold your breath until they leave. If the player is found, the monster reveals themselves and gives chase. The more they chase you, the faster they become. It Steals has a lot going for it when it comes to modes and content, with even some secret modes I haven't even mentioned, so give that a try yourself. First-person Pac Man. First-person Pac Man, sometimes referred to as Pac Man First Person or FPS Man, is exactly what it sounds like. You play as Pac Man, trying to collect all of the power pellets while avoiding ghosts. You are given a small radar on the top of the screen to give you an idea as to where you are and if there are any power pellets nearby. You can see where the ghosts are as well, with the light that they emit from their bodies. I do also like that when you collect a power pellet, the music changes, giving off the impression that the roles have been reversed, and now you are the monster. Maybe it's an idea that can be expanded upon for its own game. I wouldn't mind playing a horror game where you avoid monsters, then become an even worse monster for a short time to get your revenge. There isn't that much more to the game besides that. It is literally just Pac Man in first person. It's nice for what it is, and I'll gladly give credit where credit is due. Stigma. Stigma has to be the most unique game on this list. And no, I'm not just talking about the visuals. The detailed, manipulated sprites giving off this wavy, hallucinogenic feel. A color scheme of reds, blacks, and tans for an organic look that makes everything, even the level itself, feel alive. The disturbing visuals from demented baby doll heads, pulsating walls, and mouths shooting eyeballs. All accompanied with a fast-paced, almost scratchy soundtrack. This game could be on the list with its visuals alone, but what about the game itself? You play as this hollow-faced fetus as you slide through the maze. Instead of collecting items, you are covering spaces. To beat a level, you must cover all the spaces through the map while avoiding the monsters in your way. But they aren't the only ones you have to worry about. See, you have a time limit to complete 3 maps in each level. If you fail, you must start over. You can die multiple times, but your time limit is never restored. So while there is no set amount of lives, dying does waste time and lower your chances of completing the stage. Not only this, but you can only step on each space twice. Doing so will cause the space to become a wall you cannot pass through. There are times where you'll have to restart a level, as you'll get yourself stuck if you're not careful. At least there are these brains in each level that act as an extra hit. But there are a ton of enemies to worry about, from doll heads shooting explosive eyes, syringes from the sky impaling the ground, and even Jesus with a gun floating over the map who doesn't actually harm you, he just makes things hard to see. The game doesn't take that long to beat, but I think it's worth playing more than once to see how fast you can beat each stage. there are also other secrets to be on the lookout for, inside and outside the game.